How's it going, guys? Welcome back to a brand new podcast. Today, we are across the line. My name is Daniel,
And my name's Adam.
and welcome back. Today, we're going to be discussing Bahrain. We're going to be discussing our predictions, what happened in the race, the drama, and we're also going to be discussing Saudi predictions, and then also everything that unfolded today on Twitter regarding the whole Horner situation.
There's a lot to dive into.
It is a lot to dive into. Max and everything else, basically. Everything that erupted today on Twitter. So first things first, Adam has made some. We both got a bit muddled up. So I did predictions, but I only did top three. But Adam did.
I did a lot.
He did a list of
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm doing for next weekend, for Saudi, but for not this weekend. So,
Cool.
Adam, take it away.
I shall. So Bahrain. Before the Bahrain race, I made a list of things that I thought were going to happen, and I'll tell you right now, none of them ended up happening. So I started off with biggest surprise. I thought the biggest surprise of the race was going to be Daniel Ricciardo was going to do well, but the biggest surprise was the fact that Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda had beef right at the end of the race. So there was a surprise involving Daniel Ricciardo, but not what I thought it was going to be. I thought that RB was going to be flying after testing. I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4 Red Bull / Racing Bulls, but we did not get that.
No.
I had my biggest underperformer as Fernando Alonso, but he did also not underperform. He performed quite well. It was like Aston Martin seemed to be in their little, kind of world of their own at the moment. They're like ahead of the midfield, but also behind Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren. They're very firmly 9th and 10th. They're like 5th fastest, right in the middle, on their own. I predicted pole position to be Max, which of course did happen. So that was,
Shock.
not a great, not really throwing the fishing rod out very far there, are we? I mean, that was always going to happen.
Though, wasn't
Yeah, it was. I put / Charles Leclerc. So actually, I guessed pole position and the fastest time because Charles set the fastest time in Q2. Bottled it, but damn it, Charles, we could have had a good race. But overall, I thought Bahrain it wasn't boring. There was some good stuff going on. I really enjoyed seeing the Ferraris battle it out. That was a highlight for me. And then
when they weren't breaking down.
when they weren't locking up every corner. I saw a track map for Charles Leclerc's racing line, and it was like wide every corner. Just so poor Charles had issues with his car. It was locking up everywhere, and ended up getting. I saw Russell in P2 at the start. I was like, hold on, Mercedes cooking. Are we going to have some good Mercedes results? But we did not. No. George dropped back a little bit, but it's only race one. I'm hoping we get some variety, but as of the moment, procedure as normal. 2023 Part 2. My podium prediction was Max, Charles Leclerc, and Lewis Hamilton, and 2 of those were not on the podium. We ended up getting Max Perez and Sainz. I mean, Sainz is driving for his career at the moment. That man has been putting in some great performances last season and this season. This wonderful performance in Bahrain from him was great.
I was going to say, actually, that Sainz, it's no surprise that Sainz is doing well. Has done well in that race, because even last year he was outperforming Charles Leclerc
he
9
was.
times out of 10.
He was.
But yeah, I'll let you carry on.
That's right, mate. Science has got a big thumbs up from me. Solid driver of the day performance, well deserved from him. And then my wildcard prediction was one of the Red Bulls will DNF, and that did not happen, and no one else DNF'd for the first time in the opening race in Formula One history. So
20 years or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've given it. No, it's ever 50 years. the whole sport. This has never happened before.
Oh no, it was just at Bahrain.
Is it? Oh,
But yeah, Bahrain's never not had a safety car.
wow. Interesting. So I fumbled the bag so hard with my predictions. I made history by guessing a DNF, which then no DNFs happened. So crazy stuff. But there was some action in Bahrain. Ferraris, like I said, and Perez made his way through the field a little bit. He had a nice drive, but then again, he's driving a rocket, so
Yeah.
expected. Business as normal. What about you? What do you think about Bahrain?
Well, the only prediction I did for this week, so I did quali predictions, and then I did race predictions, but I only did top three. And funnily enough, they are the exact same as each other, so I won't bore you by saying the names twice. But I put Max first, which was like Adam said, a given. I put Sainz second, and then I put Perez third. So
Wow.
if I was bang on the money, I just had the names the wrong way round. But yeah, no, I thought Sainz drove. That's the word. Drove an incredible race. He was the better out of the two Ferraris. Also, just mechanically, but because, like I say, Leclerc was just locking up everywhere, as you said. Yeah, I think one thing I didn't notice from the race is that Ferrari have not fixed their degradation problem, which was something that was said in practice or testing that they'd fixed. They had high deg on race day, and well, I mean that was also down to locking up again. But I think Sainz also experienced quite high deg. But yeah, I don't know if Adam, did you do quali notes?
I mean, I saw that the top five were separated by about 5/10, which is quite interesting to see. So quali pace, I don't know whether Red Bull are just setting up their car for race, like for race day on quali day, because they're so fast they can just get away with it. But quali seemed interesting. Charles Leclerc had the fastest time in Q2. He got, what was it, 1:29.1 or something, and then got 2/10 slower in Q3. So fumbled the bag there. God damn it!
God damn it, Charles. Russell did really well in quali.
He did.
Even though Mercedes said afterwards that they were prioritizing race pace, and that's why they were so arse.
Gotta have an excuse for something. You know, they gotta have something to say to the press. Toto, are you back? No.
No. You can tell that he's frustrated. I saw Ted Kravitz go and speak to him. I don't know whether it was after quali or after the race, but he gave like a really bitter response, and it sort of took Ted off guard. Ted's just a little shit stirrer anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was a bit bitter, I think.
Like,
but
fuck off, Ted.
yeah. But in the actual race, they were shocking.
Yeah.
I don't really know what was going on. Both drivers had power unit problems, loss of battery.
Broken seat. That's a meme now. Hamilton broke his seat in the race. So the finishing order for Bahrain was Max, Perez, Sainz, Leclerc, Russell, Norris, Hamilton, Piastri, Alonso, Stroll. That was the top 10.
Yeah. Do you know, apparently, Hamilton was driving half the race with his left buttock in the air. Like the amount of core strength, like driving through them corners with all that all them G's worth of force, and he's got his left arse cheek just
hanging there, suspended in midair. Good damn.
Yeah, so I actually made notes for quali. I actually did a live show over on my TikTok page, Across the Line. It is quite scary. I don't know how often I'll do it, but if maybe quali and maybe just quali. I'll just do a quali, or maybe like a pre-quali and post-quali sort of show. So if you're into that and you want to see that, be sure to go over to Cross the Line TikTok page. Link will be in the description. But so I made notes for that, and I'll basically just go through quite quickly, seeing as I'll summarize it quite quickly, and we'll get straight on to the race notes. But I put Alpine were tragic. Now, not only in the race but also in quali. That is a tractor, and since the race, well, actually, I don't even think it was past qualifying. That some of their senior engineers were leaving. They didn't make the whole race weekend.
Yep.
So in terms of what is ahead for Alpine, I'm not sure, because if their senior engineers are leaving, who's gonna create the upgrades for the car?
It's the head aerodynamicist, good old Dirk. He's handing in his resignation and he's leaving. He's off.
It's something to do with power unit, right?
Renault. Good old Renault.
Some sort of power unit limitation or something like that.
Renault haven't done anything relevant in Formula One since they won with Red Bull, right?
Yeah.
Because it used to be Renault power units back when Vettel was dominating.
Yeah. So I genuinely don't know what's in store for them.
It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. It's like McLaren last year. I mean, it's not unheard of for teams to come back, but it would take a miracle for Alpine to recover. Because I don't think team members were leaving after Bahrain from McLaren, were they?
No. I don't think they left at all, to be honest.
Also, they've just got rid of their TP, haven't they? Last season, was it Otmar? Is it Otmar?
Yeah. Otmar is laughing because not only have they created a car that just doesn't work properly, they've also got the most toxic driver lineup because they absolutely hate each other.
Yeah, they bottled.
So you just know that if they get into a race situation where they're around each other, they're both going to be frustrated anyway. Apparently, Gasly's radio was like too graphic to actually put on the live broadcast. You put them together when they're frustrated, they're going to just crash into each other like they did in Australia. I remember.
Oh God.
I had a little reminder from Drive to Survive on that one, but yeah, they crashed into each other then.
What a mess. Because Ocon finished ahead of Gasly, didn't he? This race.
I don't know.
He did. He finished ahead. They were both a lap down, but Esteban Ocon finished ahead of Pierre Gasly. He must have been fuming.
He was, like I say, they said on the broadcast, didn't they, that he was just effing and blind in a way.
Yep.
And then I put Sargent starts how he left off out in Q1.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Like, that Williams actually looks like a somewhat decent race car.
It does.
Albon was saying that they've sacrificed some straight line speed and made the car a lot more steady everywhere else. And when we speak about predictions, which won't be in this podcast, but will be up on our social media accounts, I've gave them a very, without spoiling it too much, I've been very kind.
Williams got a new wheel, didn't they? They got a new wheel now because they kept on flashing
blinds.
Car too hot. They were cooking too much.
Blinding Albon mid-race the whole way through.
I heard Brundle say, like, turn the brightness down, son.
Yeah, they're not used to that modern technology. They've had the same wheel for like the past 10 years.
I think they had wheel problems, didn't they? Because Sargent went off track earlier on because his wheel just didn't turn, or their brake bias. It put like a brake bias by like accident on his car. It changed his brake bias and he went off.
Yeah, and then he nearly just DNF'd.
Yeah,
he just couldn't get the car going.
I actually stood up when that happened. I was like, "Safety car," but alas, no
safety car.
Yeah.
Then I put Haas decent 1 lap pace.
Oh, yeah. Haas did all right.
Yeah.
You know.
And following that, something I made in Q2 was Hulkenberg got P6.
He did. And
Um,
then crashed at the start.
Yeah, and yeah, but it shows that Hulkenberg's leaving off starting where he left off last season. Because last season he was qualifying quite high up, and then sabotaging. Well, not sabotaging, but like, what's the word? Crashing, or something would happen.
I was actually pleasantly surprised by Haas this race. K-Mag
Yeah.
managed to hold off both of the racing bulls, but I don't know how much of that was his doing or the own team's doing. But nevertheless, they finished in a good position. It was 12th, and I do think Hulkenberg would have finished higher had he not rammed into Stroll at the beginning of the race, who also had a very quiet but good race, you know? Dropped to 19th and then came back to 10th. I was like, round of applause for Stroll. That guy doesn't do a lot, but he cooked. He cooked in Bahrain.
Yeah, like the thing was that it was his fault that the crash happened.
He Strolls.
Yeah, because he took that corner way too tight into the room where there. Oh, that's what I thought. And well, obviously it was a race instinct because it was first lap, like carnage.
Yeah.
But he did that before. I can't remember what track it was. I think it was last year where he sort of like took the inside of the corner and went into space where there wasn't much space, and then ended up getting hit. Well, I mean, in that case, I don't know actually. I think maybe Hulkenberg is to blame as well because he did hit him from behind.
But yeah,
if you've taken your theory driving test, you'll know that if you get hit from behind, it is not your fault. So actually, maybe not. Maybe I'll.
Unless you brake test, of course.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, no, I agree with that. I think Stroll had a very, especially, I don't know if he had damage from that incident, but he had a very steady race, very quiet race.
Yeah.
Got into that P10 spot. I think he was quite far behind.
About 10 seconds behind Alonso, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But it was also 10 seconds in front of Joe, who also had a good race. My God, these good performances are cropping up everywhere.
Yeah. Joe Guan Yu was on the edge
solid.
of the points.
Yeah, solid.
Constantly throughout the whole race.
It was.
There was an earlier battle, I think, with Yuki. I don't know if they actually did battle or if Yuki came up near him, but yeah, Joe Guan Yu actually did quite well, and obviously won that battle because Yuki finished down in 14th.
Behind Daniel Ricciardo.
I'm just gonna yeah, we'll get onto that in a minute.
Yikes. I'm
just gonna do a quick summary down to my Q3 notes. So I put Perez P5, which was disappointing. I think if he got P2 in quali, which he should be doing, because like I say, the car is a lot better than the Ferraris and the Mercedes, as seen by the race.
Max.
I think the race would have been a lot more straightforward. Maybe we would have seen a bit of a battle between Perez and Verstappen at the start.
Don't say it. Don't say it. It would not have been a battle.
Not even the first lap.
I think Perez said he had a mistake, didn't he, in his quali lap, so that's why he was fifth. But yeah.
I put Max gets pole. Obviously, we know that already. Leclerc strong as well. Russell decent lap, which we spoke about already, and then I put Hamilton underwhelming, which was later discovered to be that, like I say, they prioritized race pace, and then also they went in one direction with Russell's car for the setup, and he'd been the exact opposite, which kind of shows
it did in the end result.
In the race result,
Hamilton gained a few, Russell lost a few places.
Yeah. Right, well, that's all of my quality notes, so we can get on to the juicy bits.
It's kind of bled into the race, actually. We've kind of discussed it as it's been going on.
Yeah, we've dabbled. We've dabbled. So we've already spoke about Russell. Great start by Russell. Ferrari started off very poor with their what's the word?
Lockups.
The lockups. What was it? Was it brakes overheating?
Yeah,
I
it
can't
was. It
remember.
was. Well, Leclerc's car was dragging to the right when it was something like that, and he kept on
Yeah,
going wide at turn. It's a turn 10, the weird hairpin, every single
yeah.
time.
That is like if you've played F1
Oh
23,
God.
if you're a pro esports
Yeah.
driver like us and you've played Bahrain, it is a very hard corner
We
to
play with ABS on as well.
yeah. I mean, when we worked at F1 Arcade, I had it off, and
Oh
like
God.
9 times out of 10, I'd end up going off there. Um, but yeah, it's very demanding corner for brakes
It
because
is.
you have to go, you have to brake quite hard into the corner. Um, but yeah, they didn't start off great, and then I put Merc struggling with the overheating, and the battery.
Yep.
I don't know whether that happened. Yeah, I think it did happen with Ross, didn't it? Because was it Signs that got sprayed by
Oh
battery
yeah, he
fluid?
did. He did. He got like napalm, didn't he?
Yeah.
I was like,
George
what is
Russell
this?
was
Is
playing
this
Mario Kart?
Yeah, Mercedes' new defense tactic? Just like spray fluid on the visor of the driver behind.
Dropping eggshells.
Yeah, throwing bananas behind him.
I put Gunther must be laughing at Haas when Hulkenberg crashed into Stroll and was far at the back. But then, to be fair,
I don't know.
the
I think he'd be pleasantly surprised. I think the collective reaction in the Haas garage is probably like raised eyebrows. They were like, okay,
yeah,
we got a good result. We're not as bad as we thought we were. There's at least one team that's worse than us.
yeah.
So
Yeah, 100%. I don't think they'll finish last.
no,
The constructors after seeing that performance.
I was gonna say I don't think they'll score a point this year, but I think I will be wrong.
No, I think they will.
Yeah.
I think they'll get like. I still don't think they'll be like amazing,
No.
but I think they'll get a few points here and there.
Maybe Alpine should sell the Endstone facility to Andretti. What about that? What about that for a hot take?
Hasn't Andretti already got? He's already got what's it called? I was
Facility.
gonna say campus. Yeah, facility. He's already got a facility in America. He's already got all the stuff. Like that's why there was such an outrage when he got rejected, because he's got like facilities, been like researching, developing parts and stuff like that already, and been hiring staff as well, and they rejected him for some reason.
I'd love to see Andretti in F1. I'd quite like to see 11 teams. 22 drivers.
Yeah. Well, I don't. I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
They want more drama. They want more action. The best way to get more action and drama is to add
Well,
more
drama.
cars onto the grid.
I think we have a lot of drama as it is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but it'll create even more.
It will. It will. We get silly season every season at this rate.
Yeah. And then I put Verstappen too quick again, but we've already spoke about that.
Yeah.
And then the Red Bull, the VCARB drama.
Oh.
So,
Oh boy.
what's your take on it?
Okay. All right. I did not think that I would see Yuki Tsunoda and Daniel Ricciardo, two of the smiliest drivers on the grid, and they seem to get on really well. I'd never thought I'd see them fall out like they did, because they ended up with Daniel calling him a helmet, and then Yuki was like, he's not fast at all. I was like, guys, let's relax. I do think that Yuki got hard done by the strategy call.
Yeah.
Because he, as a big boy Danny Rick fan, Yuki was faster most of the weekend, apart from FP1 when Daniel got first place, but gloss over that. Yuki was faster most of the weekend until that final stint where Daniel put softs on, and then he closes down that 9-second gap in about 10 laps, and I think Yuki had been behind K-Mag for a while at that point, and hadn't made the move, and at that point you'd expect them to say, okay guys, switch places, Daniel, have a go. And then it took 2 laps for Yuki to switch places. Obviously, he was very annoyed because he's done all this hard work. He'd lost places in the race as well, so that probably didn't help.
Yeah.
And then he's like, come on, let him by. That's never going to sit well, especially Yuki, who we know can fly off the handle. And then Daniel doesn't make the move and then doesn't give the place back. And then it seems to fly off the handle on the cooldown lap when Yuki is trying to ram the guy, which was I don't understand why he did that. That is not going to get you in a top team at all. I don't know. That is very immature. I think in the interview afterwards, when Daniel called him immature, I think he was holding back. I think he could have said a lot worse.
Yeah, 100%.
Media training at its finest. Yeah, it almost caused millions of dollars of damages based on a team order. Like, it's not the first time team orders are going to happen. It won't be the last time.
Yeah.
If the guy behind you's faster, if Yuki had moved across when they originally said, I think he could have got the move done, because by the end of the race, he was closer than Yuki. He'd been to K-Mag in the last 20 laps or so. And then he could have got Joe as well. Maybe. I don't know. We didn't even see the move on K-Mag, so it's hard to judge that. But, you know, it is what it is. And if they'd pre-organised it, like Daniel said they did, when they always planned to put him on softs at the end, and they discussed the team orders tactic, then I think it's a bad look for Yuki when he did the dive bomb and the cooldown lap. But I also think it's pretty rough to perform well all weekend and then get asked to move aside. But that's racing, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the thing was as well, I saw Ricardo speaking about it, that in the strategy meeting he said, like, it was brought up, like, there's a very high chance that he'll be on the softs at the end of the race.
Yeah.
And if that was the case, Yuki would yield the place and give it to Daniel so he could drive on and try and make progress.
Yep.
And I think Yuki is quite hot-headed.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's a downside to him. But then saying that, like, Max is also quite hot-headed as well at times.
True.
But
Max is Max.
Yeah, I know, but like Max, when there's cars around him that are competitive, like, that's when he makes mistakes. But he doesn't have to make mistakes a minute because he's just flying off. But yeah. So if Yuki wasn't so hot-headed and he yielded the place straight away, then I think Ricardo, like you say, would have got Magnussen and maybe Joe.
Yeah.
But because he took so long,
and then Max came through to lap them both.
Max came through, lapped them both, which meant that Ricardo, I think he ended up going up to like 1.6, 1.7.
Yep. And then gave K-Mag DRS.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Joe was slow, so K-Mag got DRS as well. I think it's all on Tsunoda, to be fair. And then I didn't actually see the cooldown lap. I saw you put something in the group chat.
I did.
I didn't see it because I turned it off, but like I saw on Twitter later on the cooldown lap instant. I think, like, there's just no need. Like, the race was done.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you, like, you could be upset, fair enough. There's the meeting. They would have had a meeting afterwards, and it could have been diffused. But it's like, try and like crash into him, and then like come up alongside him and then cut him up.
Did you see what happened? He had 3 snaps where he lost, like, he was losing the rear of the car as well. Like, he could have easily just span into him, and then I think if he'd crashed into him, Red Bull would have been like, get Lawson and you're done. Sit on the bench, Yuki. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no way to settle a dispute.
Yeah, especially if he caused a lot of damage. I could have seen that being very big. Especially Lawson being like on the sidelines
Lawson
ready.
did so well last year. He's just waiting for an excuse to get in that seat, and that's all he'd need. That's all he'd need.
Yeah. But so I don't. Future races, who knows what's going to happen? There's probably tension now between the drivers.
For that Red Bull seat.
But then saying that, Ricardo is quite a laid-back, chill guy, so I don't know how much that will come Obviously, there's adrenaline as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that'll thing, but then, like you say, it's now the race for the Red Bull seat for Perez. Everyone's trying to perform as best as they can.
Yeah.
I still think Ricciardo will end up getting it just because he's a PR monster.
Well, and Horner loves him. Did you watch Drive to Survive?
Yeah.
He said that Christian Horner said that Daniel Ricciardo is his favorite driver. So there you go.
Yeah, no, you can tell. But then saying that, well, we'll get into it later on. But will Horner actually still be in the sport?
Oh God, I do think that Ricciardo could have given the place back at the end, but it wasn't for points. But and then Yuki took so long to give the position up that he could have been like, "Fuck it, I'm not giving him this back."
Yeah. Well, it's not for points or anything, so
No.
you wouldn't have to, like if he got 10th.
Yeah.
And if he's in 11th, no, if he was in 10th, and Yuki was in 10th, and he overtook Yuki to try and get 9th, that'd be fair, 'cause that's a point.
Yeah.
But they finished 13th and 14th. Like, there's nothing to gain from
Yeah.
that.
Another point. Yuki's reacting so badly over 13th place. What's he gonna be like if he's like fighting for a win, and then Red Bull say, "Okay, let Max through"? Is he gonna crash into Max?
Well, I don't want to see the outcome of that. To be fair, Max would probably floor him.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Remember when he pushed Ocon in Brazil?
Yeah.
Getting punched in the face.
Everyone hates Ocon.
Poor Ocon.
Must be such a knob behind the scenes.
Oh well, that was the VCARB drama.
Yeah. I reckon Merck's quicker than McLaren.
I do too. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if they didn't have the problems that they had, I mean, towards the end, Lewis was he had some good pace. He was actually catching Lando Norris very quickly. And George Russell as well kept on to second quite well for a while, and then ended up dropping back when he had the problems as well. But I think if they can solve their power unit issues, I think they've got a very steady race car. I think, like, say, Lewis and Russell both went in different directions.
Yep.
If they were both in the same sort of setup, I think Hamilton and Russell, well, I think Hamilton would have probably finished more further up than Norris.
Yep.
And Leclerc maybe. But obviously the quali result sort of screwed him up. But yeah. What else? We had no safety car, which you already spoke about. I put Bottas having flashbacks to Merck pit stop. when they I don't know what was it, the wheel nut?
Oh
They didn't get the wheel nut
yeah. The
properly,
Monaco. Was it Monaco when he was stuck in for a day and a half?
It was like world record for longest pit stop. It was like a day and a half because he couldn't get the tire off. But he had like a 15-second pit stop because the wheel nut didn't work.
52 seconds.
Was it 52?
52, yeah. It was a long stop.
I think it was because they ruined his race. He finished.
Yeah, he finished.
Where did he finish?
Was he last?
19th. No, Sargent finished last.
Some things never change.
But yeah, no, yeah, he I don't know what happened. Someone was running around with a wheel, and then like the wheel, like the guy that was on the wheel gun was like panicking and like pointing at it. I don't really know what happened there. Like something kind of like a skit.
They couldn't put the old wheel back on either. They couldn't mix up the sets, could they? So
No.
Yeah.
Like put Benny Hill behind that.
It's like one of those like those really old film motion things where you look in like a box and it's got text and then it's just got like a funny ventriloquist or something in there.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Right. And
yeah,
then...
I think that was it was an interesting race. 4 out of 10 for me. 4 out of 10. 5 out of 10.
Oh, I wouldn't even give it that.
Really?
I give it apart from the the drama between Daniel and Tsunoda, there wasn't really much going on.
Yeah.
I mean, even the top 7 were like separated by like 2-3 seconds between them, and then obviously Max was 20 seconds ahead of Perez. Perez was. Let me have a quick final classification.
3 seconds ahead of Sainz.
Yeah.
There's a big
Sainz
gap.
thought he was going to catch him up, didn't he? Because he was on
Yeah,
softs.
yeah, but
and Sainz on hard.
They never dropped off.
Yeah, they never dropped off.
How long will it take for the tyres to drop off, guys? We are checking. Hold on, stand by. They never did.
And then Leclerc 14 seconds behind
Sainz. Yeah.
Sainz, 7 seconds in front of Russell. Russell, Lando, and Lewis. That would have been an interesting fight if there was a few more laps. There wasn't.
I feel like we got teased. We got teased with a lot of interesting battles that would have happened. We had Hamilton, Norris, and Russell all together. Three British drivers. That'd have been fun, but alas, it didn't happen, and we got blue balls.
Yeah. I just didn't find it thrilling at all. Not very many overtakes.
Yep.
Well, there was a few like at the front, but like there was a very few.
I can't believe Max lapped everyone up to Stroll. That's 10th place.
Well, yeah, he's 93 seconds ahead of Stroll at the end of the race. Well, that's the thing though. When there's no safety car, there's nothing to neutralise the race. That's just what happens, isn't it? Oh dear. Right.
Start a new one. Just add on at the end.
I just ended I accidentally ended the recording there.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you guys for watching. There will be a part 2 to this podcast uploaded where we speak about our 2024 predictions and then also the whole Twitter drama, and the Saudi predictions as well. So be sure to check out our socials for any updates and stuff, any clips that we make in the meantime. If you're on YouTube, make sure to turn that notification bell on so you know whenever we upload. Leave a comment. What do you think about the VCARB drama? Do you think Daniel was in the right? Do you think Tsunoda was in the right? Let us know down below. Leave a like. Follow us on Spotify. And all links down below. I hope to see you guys in the next podcast. Have a great rest of your day, rest of your evening. And I'll see you guys. Bye.